ton and 4x4 pickup trucks starting at $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You heard that right. $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You pick which one works better for you. Please stop on in the dealership and meet the team or check us out at couplecars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with approved credit.
Make Hog Wild the centerpiece of your Thanksgiving feast. Pre-order a 12-pound whole smoked turkey or a 4-pound turkey breast for $55. A 4-pound boneless ham is $50. A complete meal includes your choice of a whole turkey or turkey breast, mashed potatoes and gravy, stuffing, green beans or corn, and a dozen rolls for $130. Pre-order online at GoHogWild.com soon. Quantities are limited. All weights are approximate before cooking. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a good old Victory Monday. We've had 7 of those this year. Hopefully we get about 1 to 2 to possibly 3 more. You know, mathematically, we could, just saying, we could still win 10 games. Is that your new prediction, Jake? That's the rumor going around. That's your new prediction, right?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I'm pretty happy. I mean, it is. It might come down to Iowa to see if we win 8 or 9. So that will be fun.
Of course, it's going to come down to Iowa. Why wouldn't it come down to Iowa? What else is new? All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Adam Carriker Show. A nice little Victory Monday edition here on 93.7 The Ticket. What we're going to be chatting about today. Well, of course, Nebraska's victory over UCLA. We're going to feature it with the obvious headlines. No surprises here. TJ Lateef hits first start. What are our thoughts? What are our reactions? What do we like? What do we need to continue to see? What do we need to progress with? The good, the bad, and everything in between. Just a hint, a lot more good than anything else, especially for a kid making his first start on the road halfway across the country, although he went to high school 20 minutes from there. In a Big Ten conference game. Never take any conference game for granted, any conference win, I should say. Also, I mean, Jake, we're going to dive more into this later. And I want to know people's thoughts on the text line on this real quick. Emmett Johnson. I asked the question, I think it was last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. Was he going to be, not should he, because he should be, even at that point in time, was he going to be a first or second team All Big Ten performer? Basically, him or Justice Haynes out of Michigan. Because we know he should be. The question was, would he be? I think it transcends that now. Is this a guy who's a legit All-America candidate? Is this a guy who could be in the running for a Doak Walker Award? And Jake, here's what I started to see going around. And I don't want to say people were getting a little crazy with this. I think there's a difference between what should be, again, and what could be, as far as a dark horse Heisman Trophy candidate. Again, should he be in the conversation? Yeah, he's doing things nobody's done all year. He's the second leading rusher in the nation, 1,131 yards. He's only 50 yards behind. Okay, let me look at the exact name. The guy plays for Arkansas State. He's only 50. Come on, work. All right, he's only 50 yards behind him. Let me get his exact name here. Cam Cook for Jacksonville State, who has 1,181 rushing yards. They have identical averages. He has way more receiving yards. So, leading rusher in the conference, could be the leading rusher in the country before the year's done. When you look at 100 receiving, 100 rushing yards in the same game, first FBS player to do it all year. Only, was it Cam Scatterbo a year ago? The monster that he is the last time to do it, last guy to do it. And the last time it was done. When I say what could or what should be, like he's been underrated, not really talked about all year, even coming into the season. I would point out to Jake, I'm like, I feel like people just take for granted EMMETT Johnson. Who's our backup? That was the big talking point, and rightfully so. That was a concern. We know who it is now, Isaiah Mosey. But all offseason, I mean, Mosey wasn't even a running back at one point in the offseason. So it was rightfully a topic of conversation. But my thing, when it comes to conversations like this, whether right or wrong, how many wins your team has an overall whole is going to play a factor in. I don't think anybody's ever won the Heisman Trophy whose team hasn't won at least 9 games. When it comes to a Doak Walker Award, when it comes to an All-American candidacy, it's along the same lines. Is it almost like, I don't want to say it's too late, but the earlier you get into the conversation, the better. So let me know your thoughts on all this on the text line. What's that number there, Jake?
402-464-5685.
And I want to get your initial reaction. Before we do, as always, we want to give a shout out to our good friends, all right, at Mulberry Barbecue. Because you know what? It's the lunch hour here on the Adam Carriker Show on the Ticket. It's sponsored by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue. Now with 2 numero dos locations at 11th and Cornhusker and 61st and Apples Way, right off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. Both locations are open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burn-in sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, full slab of ribs, half-smoked chicken, and much, much more. Plus incredible sides. Get fueled for lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker and at 61st and Apples Way, just off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. What are your thoughts? First of all, should it, healthy season, finish strong, continue playing the way he's been playing? Should it be a lock that he's first team All Big Ten? All-American, Doak Walker candidacy, dark horse for the Heisman. What are your thoughts on all that?
Well, I think it'll be interesting, especially when you kind of look at and factor in the injury situation, which is in play for Justice Haynes over there at Michigan. So, I mean, I think that's, you just look at overall, yeah, he's got the number, but Justice Haynes, even, in the straight-up game against EMMETT Johnson, ran for 149 yards that day and a touchdown. Now, he's not near the receiving threat that EMMETT Johnson is out of the backfield, but he does average 7.1 yards per carry. So, I mean, I don't necessarily think EMMETT Johnson is even a lock to be the first of the first 2, but there's 2 running backs in All Big Ten. So I think he's pretty much, like you said, if things go on as they have been, he'll be a first team All Big Ten running back. And then, from there, you got a pretty good chance at All-American. Doak Walker, like you're saying, I would stop short of Heisman Trophy. Not that there's an obvious choice. I mean, Fernando Mendoza, because part of it, the reasoning is okay, well, where's this Heisman moment? Can it happen in these final games against Penn State? Well, Fernando Mendoza might have had his against Penn State this last weekend. So, but it very much seems to be a quarterback award, or at least those that are in there. I love what he's doing. It's not Ashton Genty's season, right? I mean, so you have to have a spectacular season to kind of be in that category in my mind. Now, he could get there if he really blows up in these final few games and he finished with 9 wins, maybe. I don't know if I would say invited, but you look at the kind of top 8 that usually gets released, somewhere around there, maybe top 10, could be in that conversation. But I do think he's also just going to be overlooked nationally, as he has been, partially because Nebraska, again, you're looking for that Heisman moment. You're looking for, when are you doing it against who? And, well, we're having a great season. We're excited. It's not quite game-breaking news or, the lead story on ESPN, his season so far. So I don't mean that to deter that or anything like that. I just feel like he's probably still a little bit out of the Heisman race. Or I think it'd be a little bit too early to talk about it.
I think with the Heisman, I'm going to keep this short. I just saw people talking about it. I saw a video on X that got 3,000 likes or whatever. I was like, really? People are, okay, we'll address it then. So my thoughts are this. I think when you look at the top 10 to 15 vote getters, I could see him in the top 10, maybe 15. But you've either got to come into the season with a little bit more publicity, you got to get it early on, or you got to have that big Heisman moment. And where you're just not going to get that. I mean, Iowa now has 3 losses. They're not ranked. Penn State is 3-6. Even UCLA is now 3-6. So people are going to take that into consideration. All right. So for me, that's not Emmett's fault. If you notice, everything I just talked about, he can't control any piece of that. Like, none of that is something that's within his control. With what he can control, he's had a phenomenal season. When you talk about all Big Ten, the injury is going to factor in with Justice Hayes. You said there is 2 running backs. Even if there was only one, it should be Emmett, in my humble opinion. So you start to talk All-American candidacy. He's absolutely got to be in that. You look at some of this other stuff. Since 1995, Emmett Johnson is now since 1995. I know for you that, and for me, that seems like yesterday, just for perspective. That was 30 years ago, Jake. Just okay. So in the past 30, I love it when I get to feel old. All right, Emmett Johnson is now the first Big Ten player in a single game to record since 1995, 30 years, 125 plus rushing yards, a rushing touchdown, 100 receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. He touched the ball 32 times, over 30 touches for the second straight game. So for me, when it comes to the Doak Walker Award, he should All-American candidacy, he should be first, second, third team. It's kind of like I said coming into the season, and I said this repeatedly, Dylan should be something honorable mention, something all Big Ten, whether it's first team to third team to honorable mention. Obviously, the injury is going to hamper that, but with Emmett, I said the same thing. Well, now he's got to be in that conversation for All-America candidacy, somewhere between first to third team at worst, and I think he should be a finalist at worst, a semifinalist for the Doak Walker Award. What he's doing, the way he's doing it, the amount of times he touches the ball, the way he impacts the game running the ball, the way he impacts the game catching the ball, the way UCLA, we played a clip of UCLA's head coach, and I didn't play a clip of one of their leading players on defense because the head coach said the same thing. So basically the entire UCLA defense was like, focus on that guy. And that guy still destroyed them. It was 11-on-1, it seemed like. This is actually, I'm stealing this from UCLA's own Barstool account. It's 11-on-1 and Emmett Johnson's still winning. That's what they said on Twitter. So that has to be factored in. He's doing a great job. That goes without saying. There's got to be some recognition at the end of the season. And I know you don't like it when I point this out, but different people see things differently. And sometimes things are so obvious and they can still be missed. You're ready to give me a dirty look because the last time I brought this up, you gave me a dirty look, and then we'll move on. You're ready?
I'm ready.
He couldn't even get on the field at this time last year. Okay, can we move on now? You didn't give me the dirty look. You're busy reading comments, aren't you? Like, there are things that are missed. And so sometimes a fresh set of eyes can change a whole lot of things. You never know who, if just given the opportunity, could burst on the scene. If this little change is made on offense, how big of a difference it could make. This change on defense. A coaching change in a unit. Maybe that unit could become, pun intended, badly, if you think it is, special teams unit. Like, things like this can make a ginormous difference. Is there anything from the text line on this?
Yeah, there's a thought here. Frost says, why are we talking about Haynes? He's out for the year, which he might be. He did get surgery.
Jake brought him up. That's directed at you. So I want that to be known.
I mean, again,
that's directed at you.
He's averaging like 7.1 yards per carry. I mean this in all due respect. I think he was the best running back in the Big Ten, but previous to his injury. Emmett Johnson is going to be right in there. And again, I think he could be, I think he's certainly, health is part of it, right? So, but I do think similar to JoJo Domann, if you remember, he played like 8 games with second team All-American. I mean, if you can see it at certain times, they'll still reward you there. Then others feel like I'm being too negative, and so they want this.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Bad news.
You know what I think? I think people just want to hear that. That's what I think. I think that's something that's kind of like catching on because people are starting to mention that to me more. I've got some bad news for you. I wonder if I could reach out to Wade Barrett. I don't know Wade Barrett. I wonder if the wrestler who does it. I wonder if I could reach out to a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows 10 other guys who maybe could reach out to Wade. Maybe I could do that. Maybe there's that chain in there. I could start getting the dominoes to fall. We could try to bring Wade on. I bet he would pop big time for that, by the way.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what other info we got here. By the way, my favorite picture from the game, I know the whole cheerleader picture, like all the cheerleaders staring at Emmett like, whoa, that was the bit. I liked the Heisman pose, not because of Emmett and the Heisman, because the lineman got in on it with him. That was my favorite part of that. My favorite play from the game, as much as the O-line has been critiqued this year, that's a good word to use, critiqued, my favorite play from the game was the screen pass to Emmett Johnson. and I'm gonna diatribe a couple reasons why it was my favorite. Number one, and I'm not the first one to point this out, but I'm gonna point it out again because you can't point this stuff out enough. Because I'm telling you right now, as a big, rather large defensive lineman that I used to be, now I'm just a big, rather large radio host, but we were not running 30, 40 yards downfield consistently unless we were bought into what was going on. You are not going to have offensive linemen 30, 40, 50 yards downfield. Spindler, Justin Evans, those guys downfield blocking on a screenplay unless they are bought in. That is pure effort and grit, and you ain't going to get that from everybody, let alone an entire unit like that, unless they are bought in. As critiqued, and rightfully so, as the offensive line has been this year, and the offensive line coach, and it's all been rightfully so. 9 freaking sacks, 7 freaking sacks, 5 freaking sacks. Been much better lately in the rushing game department as a whole. Been better lately when it comes to protecting the quarterback. Some of that's Emmett, some of that's the play calling, some of that's the offensive line. Give them their credit. Donovan has those guys bought in to where they're going to run their big, fat rear ends, I can say because I have it too, 50 yards downfield and block. You don't get that a lot. That is my favorite play from the game. That's reason number one. Number two, did you notice the play design? Like it was to Emmett. It was a screenplay to Emmett down the left sideline. Did you notice what the play looked like initially? Wide receiver screen in Isaiah. If you've noticed, ever since Maryland, teams are ready for that play. Like they have, it's been pointed out in film study. Players have been screamed at after they're told to wake up and take notes. They've been screamed at in film session. They're going to run this. We can't give up a 56-yard touchdown to them. This guy runs 22 miles per hour that catches the ball with only one cleat on. We can't allow this thing to get out the gate. Every team has been prepared for it. In fact, we tried that screenplay. We got like 5 yards. It wasn't great. I don't know.
Kind of got blown up.
Yeah, I wasn't going to point that out. Play the bad news thing again. Bad news box strikes again.
I was pointing it out. I mean,
you don't have to mumble. I give you all the credit in the world for that. Fans love it, dude. You came up with that. You put it together. That was great. All right. But it was a fake screen in Isaiah Hunter with the offensive lineman leaking out behind him, and then Emmett leaking out the back going down the left sideline. I love the play design. Nobody had seen that in a game. They had seen the wide receiver screen. They're ready for that. Now you throw another wrinkle at them. And you've got offensive linemen bought in. So I love the play design. I love the play call. And I love the way it was executed. Starting with the big hog mollies up front. They've been called so many things over the years. The big uglies, the wide bodies. How about we call them the big beautifuls? You do something like that, and I'm going to start calling that position group the big beautifuls. How's that sound, Jake?
It does sound good. And I mean, I know part of this was TJ Lateef too, but 0 sacks on the day. So the offensive line has been improving. Again, part of that being maybe the quarterback and the game plan going in. But you told me that, late September. I said, I don't know.
that would have been a fair critique or concern,
yeah.
So to speak. So I want to give them a shout out on that because it's rightfully deserved. Just like other things earlier in the season were rightfully deserved at that time. All right. Anything else off the text line? Anybody else who's, I was going to say coming at you. I don't want to highlight people coming at you, Jake. I don't want to do that. That's not nice of me. Is there anything off the text line in general?
There are some thoughts here. Ohio Huskers says too late this year, but we'll be in the conversation next year.
Hold on. That's where I was going to go before we close this. He should already be on the pre-Heisman boards for next year before we ever take a snap in our first game. Go ahead.
Derek in the car says, how much is there left to do? Heisman candidate is not a stretch. He plays on a winning team. Bob says, nothing spectacular against Cincinnati, and I think Michigan shutting him down on the ground early in the season kept him out of this conversation. Those games are with big audiences, and he didn't catch anyone's attention.
That's fair points. Fair points.
I think that's all right now.
All right. Shall we move on to Mr. TJ Lateef?
I think so. It's a good thing to move on to.
Dude. He had more. Do you realize this? He had more touchdown passes than incomplete passes. He was 13 of 15. 2 incompletions with 3 touchdown passes. Did you even realize that?
I guess I didn't realize there was more touchdowns than incompletions. I didn't think through it that way anyway.
So to be clear, I would not expect that to continue going forward. I don't want to set an insanely high bar here. But I do think we can point out a very impressive stat. I mean, he was 10 of 10. He hadn't had an incompletion until the fourth quarter. He was 10 of 10 going into the fourth quarter. So I think we can point out an impressive stat and a very good first game by TJ Lateef without getting crazy with it. Okay, I'm not going to expect more touchdowns and incompletions against Penn State or against Iowa. But I think we can recognize, hey, this kid's fun to watch. You watch him against Akron and Houston Christian, my goodness, he looked good. It's like, it's Akron and Houston Christian. Now all I'm hearing is, it's just UCLA. Yeah, team that won 3 out of the past 4 after a bye week at home. But okay, sure. We'll just steamroll everything that happens that's good if you want to. We got a bye week, Penn State. Let's say he goes and does just something similar. Instead of 13 of 15, let's say he's 13 of 19. God forbid, 6 incomplete passes. Over a 66.6% completion percentage. What do people say? Penn State stinks. They gave up on the season. You can create whatever narrative you want. What I'm going to focus on is what I can't deny. It was a really good performance, a really good first start. You need to continue to build. You need to continue to improve. Other teams now have more definitive film on what you're going to do, albeit we do have a bye week if we want to throw a few wrinkles out there, change a few things up without getting crazy with it. So Penn State doesn't know exactly what to expect. And I do think the biggest thing going forward is consistency on offense. All right, great first start. You don't know really, for as much flack as Nico Iamaleava, or as the announcers call him, Nico Yama Yama Yama, my gosh, at some point, can somebody correct them? They kept saying it over and over and over like they were right. Can somebody just go, hey, nobody else out there named Nico. Just call him Nico. Or UCLA's quarterback or something. Yama, yama, yama. It's like, oh, my gosh.
It's like back to the Ndamukong Suh days.
Oh,
nobody knew how to say Ndamukong for like the first 9 games of his senior year even.
Man, that's why everyone just went to Sue.
Yeah, Big Sue.
Yeah. You know what you know what Ndamukong means, don't you?
Yeah.
House of Spears?
Yeah.
What a freaking cool name that is.
Yeah.
You ever heard the old Western, was it a Western song? I think Johnny Cash sang it, A Boy Named Sue.
Oh, yeah.
You remember the meaning behind that song?
I don't think it was the name that he wanted. Like get him tough, grow him up tough, right?
Yeah. So essentially, one day he doesn't know who his dad is. The boy's name is Sue. Like that is his first name. We don't know what his middle or last name is. Not the point of the song. And his entire childhood, people make fun of him for being named Sue. You got to keep in mind this song came out 40 years ago, 50 years ago. So keep in mind that time, that era. He's fighting all the time. He's in bar fights, all this stuff because people want to pick a fight with Sue. A boy at the time, and in this song. So one day he meets his dad. He goes, my name is Sue. How do you do? And he wants to slug him in the face. And his dad goes, I knew I wouldn't be there. I knew I wouldn't be there to help raise you as a man. And I knew that name would toughen you up. What a fatherly thing to do. I'm going to set you up so you have to get in fights every day. All right. You come back to the topic at hand. Not a song that was 40 years ago. I'm pretty sure it was Johnny Cash. My dad used to listen to it all the time. But anyways, you come back to Nico. You come back to the offense and started out really well. All I want to see going forward is consistency. I don't know that you're going to complete 86, 87% of your passes every single game going forward. Again, the amount of touchdowns versus incompletions. Just keep being consistent going forward. Keep evolving. Keep improving. You have a bye week. If you want to put a couple of wrinkles in there, one of the best things they did was they kept it simple. They allowed him to play fast. He made quick, decisive decisions. It was bing, bang, boom, or I'm gone. The ball was out fast. It wasn't anything crazy. And I think it allowed him to play to his strengths. And Holgorsen isn't a guy that likes a thick play sheet. Bill Callahan, I'll tell you right now, the offensive playbook was at least twice as thick as the defensive playbook when he was here. And that was his philosophy. I get it. He's had offenses that have scored a lot of points. Zach Taylor was a Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year, our senior year. But Holgorsen's philosophy is, if I can just get it all on a note card, I'm cool. Let's go fast. Let's get really, really good. Let's turn the simple things into big things, little plays into big plays, and let's just be quick and decisive. It was a fun offense to watch from that perspective. Now, obviously, Dylan was a starter for a reason, but obviously TJ also brings something to the table when it comes to using his legs. Even beyond that, I just look at the pass game. I enjoyed the ball getting out quick. I enjoyed the fact that the pass protection seemed to be better, and I enjoyed the fact that the run game was established, which allowed everything else to play off of it. Because I've said all year, it all goes hand in hand. So the thing that excited me the most about this wasn't even the stats, wasn't even how well he played as an overall whole. What excited me the most was how quickly he played, how quick he made decisions. To me, that's what I liked the most. If he was going to take off and run, he took off. If the ball needed to get out, he'd get it out. And that's what excited me the most. And then you look at the stats and like, oh, what I saw kind of adds up with the stats as well. 13 of 15, 205 passing yards, average 16 yards per completion, I should say. Did you realize that? 16 yards of completion. We had not had the highest success rate at throwing the ball over 15 yards in the previous 3 games. We had discussed that here, right?
Yeah.
So to me, that's what excites me. And again, Dylan was a starter for a reason. I'm just excited to see the next man up play like the next man up. I wish it had looked like this versus USC, but this is sports. You don't always get what you want. You can take advantage or not of the next opportunity you have, and I feel like that's what Rule did, Holgerson did, and what TJ Lateef did. Before we go to break, you got anything, or is there any? I mean, I can go through more stats, but they've all been talked about to death. They're really, really impressive, really, really good. At one point in the game, his QBR was over like 300 or something like that, which I got to be honest, I didn't even know. I thought it was like a video game. I watched a video game? Like, is that even realistic in real life? But before we go to break, you got any thoughts or anything on this topic or anything from the text line, Jake?
We do have some thoughts from the text line. 0247 says a boy named Sue came out in 1969, so 56 years ago, Adam.
Ooh, I like that. Good piece of knowledge right there. Was it Johnny Cash? It was Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash.
I got that part right. Go ahead.
And then 3574 says, is this what our offense looks like the rest of the season? Heavy run, limit passes, the play action should have looked like this all year. Our line isn't built for a drop back passing quarterback.
So I would love it if it looked like this. You put I would love to run the ball 60% of the time or more. Now, we ran it over 70%. But I have a feeling Penn State and Iowa will cause us to need to be a little bit more balanced. At least Iowa. I don't know what to make of Penn State. I can't tell you how hard I was rooting for Indiana on Saturday. I was rooting for Indiana, number one, because we need Indiana to be really good to represent the Big Ten, along with Ohio State, and I want the Big Ten to look good. I'm sorry. Penn State being 4-5 does not make the Big Ten look better. Indiana being 9-0, 10-0 makes the Big Ten look better. Also, if Penn State beats the number 2 team in the country, do they all of a sudden decide this season is worth playing? All I care about is Nebraska winning. I'm sorry. Now I wonder if Penn State just completely goes down the toilet as far as their effort and attitude and how much they want to play football, being 3-6 the rest of this year. I was rooting for Indiana so hard on Saturday. And so amazing play, catch at the end. Fernando Mendoza, to your point, I mean, if Indiana, they don't even have to go undefeated and win the Big Ten. If as long as they play well, finish the season strong, that may have been the Heisman moment. He may be the number 1 pick in the draft. We'll see what happens. As far as our offense, I sure hope it's what it looks like. As far as at least 60-40 run pass, being able to use TJ's legs when appropriate. And he only ran the ball 5 times. Like, they didn't even have to run him that much. And they kind of left it up to him if he wanted to take off at other times. The RPO game. Things like that. If the quarterback makes the right decision, it's almost indefensible. What the defense tries to do is confuse you into making the wrong decision, which is, I'll just be honest with you, every offensive play in a playbook is drawn with a touchdown at the end of it. Just like every defensive play in a playbook is drawn with 0 gain or sacks in the backfield. Every run play is drawn to 0 net yards in a defensive playbook, or a pass rush or a blitz on a pass play, 3rd and long, nickel, dime, all that stuff is drawn with sacks in mind in the backfield. It really comes down to who executes, and it really comes down to the decisions made by the quarterback mentally and how fast and quick you make them. Does the defense confuse you? Do you get in obvious situations where you can run the ball for 8 yards, but it's 3rd and 15, so who cares? If the offense can stay in 2nd and 6, 3rd and 3 or less, you can keep the defense off balance. It could be run. It could be pass. It could be a short pass. It could be a medium pass. It could be the quarterback taking off. It puts the defense in a bind. If it's an obvious situation, they can say, hey, we're coming. And we don't care if you get 8 to 10 yards because it's 15 yards you need on 3rd down. And then can the defense disguise their looks? Can they get you off balance? Can they be unpredictable in your mind so you make the wrong decision? It doesn't have to be uber complicated offensively. It just needs to be executed well, starting with the decision-making with the quarterback position, which is why what excited me so much about TJ Lateef was his quick, decisive decision-making. That's what I liked. It's not going to be flawless. It's not going to be perfect. Sometimes it's better to play fast, even if you make a mistake, than it is to be slow and try to be perfect. Because if you're going slow, you can do it perfect. You're still going to be wrong because it's too slow. If you're quick and decisive, more times than not, you're reacting versus thinking, and you're probably going to do the right thing. But at least you give yourself an opportunity. And even if it's a little bit ugly along the way, probably something good's going to happen. Does that make sense? What I explained right there?
Oh, sorry. I was reading the text line.
No, that's okay. Is there anything off the text line?
There's just some more thoughts about Dana in switching his offense earlier in the year, but it is what it is now.
Let's come back to that and some other topics. Got some Pro Football Focus grades. Gospel to me. It's my Bible when it comes to grading football players.
Something like that.
I thought you were getting ready to hit the bad news button again. You raised your hand. All right. When we come back, we'll chat about some of those things. I can't tell you everything I just described about playing fast versus trying to play perfect. I have said that no less than 1 billion times to teams that I've talked to, by the way. Like, that is not something, like, I know that by heart because it is so true because I say it so often. And it doesn't matter if it's a kindergarten basketball team or it's a professional football team. Like, it is legit. There's variations and there's different degrees of this. It's all relative. But the premise stays the same, and it travels from team to team, sport to sport, age to age, level of competition to level of competition. If you try to play perfect, you might be perfect, but if you play slow, you're going to be wrong no matter what. Make quick, fast decisions. It's like go quick, but don't hurry. You give yourself an opportunity to react versus think. And even if it ain't 100% correct all the time, because it's never going to be, the odds of you doing something right and something going well go way up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at gainatrucking.com.
This is your year to win way more than bragging rights. At Warhorse Casino, your love of the game could earn you serious cash. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with cash prizes all season long, like up to $1,000 weekly, with your chance at $1 million, all while earning tier points and comp points every time you place a sports bet. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Ryan, with all this red and all these people around, I'm still not seeing the tailgate.
Todd Spidell, former body shop owner, terrible driver.
We're getting close. Now, did you know with 3 locations in Lincoln and hundreds of years of combined technician experience, we can get Husker fans back on the road even quicker and safer after their tailgate mishaps? Oh, Todd, turn left right here.
Left or right?
Left, right here.
Right?
Well, you wait for the tow truck. I'm getting a hot dog.
Well, I guess while I'm waiting. All right! Most recommended! Eustace Body Shop! Woohoo!
Dude, you should be on American Idol.
You really think so?
No.
Accidents happen, even to Husker fans. If it happens to you, call Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends.
The most recommended
Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln area. We are going to keep this train rolling in a big way with new half-ton and 4x4 pickup trucks starting at $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You heard that right, $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You pick which one works better for you. Please stop on in the dealership and meet the team or check us out at coppellcars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with approved credit.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
Here at Aspen Builders, our company is building more homes today than I thought we would ever build.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
You know, I am just shocked at how strong our market is here in Lincoln and at Aspen Builders. We're probably helping people right now more than ever get into a new home. We've been able to find pieces of ground we can develop affordably and keep our lot prices down a little bit. I think with our volume discounts and our office staff, 35 years of experience, we figure out a plan that's going to work great for you. We make it perfect. We make it fit your price range. All of this is part of the reason we're so busy.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I just got the good news from Jake that I went 5-0 over the weekend in our college football pick'em. Jake, how'd you do? I genuinely had no idea, so I don't know how you did.
I went 4-1. So.
That's pretty
Not
good.
bad either, yeah.
That's almost as good as me.
That's my goal.
Well, hold on. Is it our? We haven't said this in a while. Our goal on this show is to be smarter than the average dumb guy. Isn't that what we used to say back in the winter? That's what we strive to be, smarter than the average dumb guy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, want to give a shout out to Suizo Construction, where safety isn't just a policy, it is a promise. Suizo is hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back both on and off the job site. Apply at Suizo.com. 40 years strong in business. Suizo Construction. Again, Suizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com. Also, shout out to our good friends at Hamilton Telecommunications. They bring you the latest in quality technology and communication services since 1901. Learn more about their residential and business services at HamiltonTel.com. That's Hamilton. Hit the mic there. HamiltonTEL.com. Just for perspective, Emmett Johnson's past 5 games, 32 touches, 232 total yards, 3 touchdowns. 31 touches, 180 total yards, 2 touchdowns. 29 total touches, so almost 30. 139 total yards, 1 touchdown. 19 touches, 100 yards, 0 touchdowns. 23 touches, 196 yards, 0 touchdowns. That's his last 5 performances. Just let that sink in, ladies and gentlemen. I do think that one texter made a good point about the Michigan-Cincinnati game. But, my friend, he will be on people's radar, finish this year strong, okay, healthy, all that good stuff, going into next year. There was a question about the play calling from Holgerson before we went to break. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's just some chatter on the text line about Holgerson and if this play calling, if they would have done it all year, kind of what it could have looked like.
So, and then you and I had an interesting conversation during break that I want to bring on air. Because people define success differently. Because after the Cincinnati game, you were with the crowd leaving the game that was happy. We won a one-score game, and then a lot of people were panicking. Well, by the way, that Cincinnati win looks pretty darn good right now. Which I will take credit for saying in real time. I said this team is better than people realize. They're a dark horse in the Big 12 Conference. I said that right afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm wrong about plenty. I'm certainly going to take credit when I do get something right. So it's interesting because after the UCLA game, I was pretty happy. I mean, did we just win a national title? No, we did not. But what did we do? We went halfway across the country as a road underdog with a teenage true freshman quarterback and won a game. We were up 28-7, and I get some people are like, oh, man, almost blew that game. We won the game. And I was happy. I get online, I read some comments. Some people are pissed. UCLA sucks. How did we barely win? I don't know. We were an underdog to begin with. Like, it's interesting. I almost feel like people become trained. Like, the Husker fans have experienced such frustration for so long. You look at away stadiums, and we still pack more fans into away stadiums than most of their home teams. You look at Wisconsin right now. What did UCLA have? 8 people in their stands when they upset Penn State? Wisconsin might have had 24 when they beat Washington. Maybe 32, 40. I'm just multiplying by 8 here. Like, Nebraska fans still show up. They are the most passionate fans in America. I just always remember to bring the respect along with the passion. Anybody ever gets oversensitive about fans' reactions, I'm like, go turn on a USC game when they're not winning. Go turn on a UCLA game. Go turn on other programs when they're not winning. I would rather have passionate fans with respect than apathy. So when I say this, keep all this in mind because I do think there's a certain portion of Husker fans who've been frustrated for so long that they've almost been trained. Like when you see something for so long, you kind of train yourself. It's almost muscle memory. No matter what happens, there's going to be like, there are some Husker fans who just want to be negative no matter what. Those are the vast minority. Sometimes, unfortunately, online, they tend to be the ones that are the most outspoken, so they tend to get the most attention, kind of like the squeaky wheel thing. They're not the vast minority. They're the vast majority. They just tend to be the loudest sometimes. But there are some Husker fans who've almost been trained, no matter what happens, to be frustrated. And I understand that. Like, I don't think that's a crazy thing because when you're as passionate as Nebraska fans have been, as loyal as they've been for so long, yet you've had frustrations to the level that we've had it for so long, it's almost like no matter what happens, you're going to be frustrated about because it's become a habit. So to be clear, I'm not indicting Husker fans. I actually understand it. So it got me and Jake talking about barometer. How do you judge success? So now we're going to shelve that. Now that I brought it up and delved into it, we're going to come back to it in 2 minutes because I want to talk about the Holgerson play calling thing. All year, I have felt like he was running a version of Satterfield's offense, and we know he learned their vocabulary. It was going to be more pro style. It wasn't going to look like his typical, throwing the ball all over the yard type offense. And actually, a lot of the air raid guys don't even claim Holgerson because he runs the ball too much to be an air raid guy. Actually, that's what David Pollock, he was the first one to ever told me that, and I've heard other people say it. But all year, I've been like, is he calling his offense? Now, we've all been told, he's been told he can do what he wants. And I'm just like, man, I want Dana Holgerson to run his offense. And if that's what he's been doing, so be it. But I want the West Virginia, Houston, Oklahoma State. I want that. Now, if this is what he believes is best, what we've done all year, then hey, he knows more than I do. Well, I'm not going to argue with that. But man, going into the UCLA game, I was like, ooh, I wonder if we see some of those other offenses and things he used to do kind of in the past, and we saw a glimmer of it. Now, the question is, should we have done it sooner in the year? If we do it sooner in the year, do we win more games? I can offer an opinion, but I can't stand here and speak definitively or in absolutes because he's the offensive coordinator. There was a reason he was doing what he was doing. And obviously, it was a little bit different. Despite what we were told last week, no, it's going to be the same. It was a little bit different. There was variations, right, Jake? I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
I am crazy, but there was variations. Had we done it sooner, would we have won more games? I would have been very curious had the whole year gone by and we not saw what we saw, at least at some point in the year, like what we saw on Saturday. I'd have been like, man, did we miss an opportunity this year to see some of that and experience some of that? And I'm glad we're seeing it now. I don't know the reason it didn't take place sooner. I'm not going to say we would have won or lost more games. I'm simply going to say I do have faith in him, and I can't wait to see what we have going forward because I like what I saw Saturday. As far as the barometer, because some people's barometer is the 90s Huskers, like arguably the greatest era of college football ever. And I know there's some Minnesota fans. They won 3 national titles in the 30s, and Notre Dame fans under Newt Rockne, and then Alabama fans under the Bear and under Saban. I get all that. The 90s Huskers is right up there in the conversation with all of them. There's some people, that's their barometer. I'd love to get back to that. But what's realistic for right now? That's the barometer I'm talking about. Some people look at the Scott Frost win-loss total, and they're like, can we beat that? That's not my barometer. That's like the bare minimum, which is what I've said I would consider success this year. My ultimate barometer for Nebraska is getting back to competing for championships more often than not. And if you're going to do that in today's day and age of college football, a general record you need to have is 10-2. If you face a murderer's row schedule, you can probably get away with 9-3. But if you're 10-2 and you're in the Big Ten or SEC, you're probably going to get in the college football playoff, and you're definitely in the conversation. In the meantime, that's my long-term barometer. Competing for championships more often than not. Hopefully winning some at some point. In the meantime, we fired a guy who never won less than 9 games. Now, I'm not going to go to Solich, my old head coach, okay? The last guy who went 10-3 or better was Solich. As you pointed out to me, I didn't even know that. Because I was like, well, Pelini went 10-3. You're like, no, he went 9-4 and 10-4. So last guy to go 10-3 or better at Nebraska was Solich, which was my redshirt freshman year. By the way, the same year he got fired. Rabbit hole we'll save for the offseason. My barometer is Bo Pelini. Now, there was other things going on. I'm just going to be honest, there was emotions, there was ego, there was bad relationships that factored into this as well. But when you just look at the results on the field, my barometer is we let go of a guy who was 9-3, 9-4, 10-4, year after year, never less than 9 wins. My barometer for justifying letting go of a guy like that, who probably needed to be let go because of other things that I've mentioned, because it was only going to go downhill, because there are things that factor into being a head coach when it comes to relationships abroad. But when it comes to on-field results, that's my barometer. We need to get back to where Bo Pelini left us, wins and losses wise, and then we need to get better for it. Or otherwise, why did we let him go? I've never once stood here and said Bo shouldn't have been fired because of all the other stuff I've mentioned, the relationships that went south. I've simply always used that as my barometer. And you pointed out to me that mathematically, we have a chance to go 10-3 this year. I don't know how likely it is, but mathematically, if we go 10-3, we would have finally reached my personal barometer. What's your barometer? What are people saying on the text line? How do you judge success for Nebraska right now is what we're getting at.
Well, we do have a text here from Bill and Bennett. Says if we could play witness to November to remember if Dana utilizes EJ and mobile quarterback like Lateef, in my opinion. So he's definitely looking forward to that. A win in November. It's not easy to come by here at Nebraska for quite some time. So that was a big one. I just, I kind of thought they're building as a program, and you don't necessarily even like how I went back and said, well, they technically got a bowl game back years. That means progress. Well, I'll do it again. They technically got 7 wins this year in the regular season over 6 last year. So again, it might be baseline or bottom line, but that's at least progress. So again, what did you think coming into the year? I think you said 9 wins. I said 8. They're in that category. They're right there. We're going to see how it kind of plays out here in these last couple of games. I think no matter what happens, no matter where they land, we're never going to look at that Minnesota game and think that was just an egregious game where Nebraska really let an opportunity slip away and really didn't even show up to put their best foot forward, regardless. So I think you're going to look back at that and think that was a missed opportunity. But that's where I'm kind of at now. I mean, it would be nice to compare it to the 90s Huskers. It'd be nice to compare it to Bo and Frank, but it's been a long time since they've been in that category, and you've got to build it up. You hired a program builder to do it, and here it is playing out in year 3. It might not be the year 3 jump. We'll see. Kind of depends on these last final games, but it is at least heading in the right direction once again. And, I know there's a lot of people kind of think about this quarterback potential controversy coming up. I think, again, that's a lot better situation than completely relying on one guy to save the whole team, is to feel like you do have options. And so, that's a good thing to have for Nebraska moving forward as far as program expectations and believing it's heading in the right direction.
You're not going to come off that, are you? If we just don't win another game and we finish 7-6, you're happy.
I wouldn't say happy, but I would say that they've by the numbers moved forward. 7 wins in a regular season. That hasn't been done since Mike Riley 2016
last year
in a regular season.
Oh, regular season.
Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to catch you on that one. Good job. So before the season, I predicted 9 wins. I said 8 wins. I meant 8-4. I've expanded on this before. I meant 8-4, but just 8 wins in general would be a successful season because it's a step in the right direction. When you don't play all that tough of a schedule, you can't do equal to a year ago and say, hey, we're going in the right direction. No, you did equal to. You have to do greater than in order to show me you're going in the right direction. We don't even have to win every game the rest of the year. Win 2 out of the last 3, we're 9-4. You match Bo as like a 9-4, 10-3 team just for this year. And technically 9 wins, that's a bit of a jump from 7. I got to be honest, the jump for me is like 3 wins, but if we're given the benefit of the doubt here. All right. Anything else off the text line? Good to go? Anything else?
Good to go for now.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Make Hog Wild the centerpiece of your Thanksgiving feast. Pre-order a 12-pound whole smoked turkey or a 4-pound turkey breast for $55. A 4-pound boneless ham is $50. A complete meal includes your choice of a whole turkey or turkey breast, mashed potatoes and gravy, stuffing, green beans or corn, and a dozen rolls for $130. Pre-order online at GoHogWild.com soon. Quantities are limited. All weights are approximate before cooking. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
This is your year to win way more than bragging rights. At Warhorse Casino, your love of the game could earn you serious cash. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with cash prizes all season long, like up to $1,000 weekly, with your chance at $1 million, all while earning tier points and comp points every time you place a sports bet. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the all-new Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide the smooth energy to get you through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found at Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC, the #1 fastest growing GMC dealer in the Omaha and Lincoln area. We are going to keep this train rolling in a big way with new half-ton and 4x4 pickup trucks starting at $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You heard that right, $12,500 off list price or 0% financing. You pick which one works better for you. Please stop on in the dealership and meet the team or check us out at CoppellCars.com. Stock number C280930. All deals with approved credit.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Tune in to Outside the Box from 4 to 5 p.m. for everything you need to know about the Lincoln Stars. Join head coach Rocky Russo and play-by-play voice Alex Fern as they sit down with special player guests to tell the story of the Lincoln Stars and give you all the news and notes you need from around the USHL. That's Outside the Box with the Lincoln Stars on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play it against sports at 48th and Vine. Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! I was a little bit late. Apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Adam Carriker Show. As a former Husker and NFL player, I'm a bit of a health nut. Hydration and recovery start at home. That's why you should team up with Culligan of Lincoln. Soft water means better showers, cleaner dishes, and it will protect your water heater and appliances. Their high-efficiency softener cuts salt and water usage. For drinking, make sure that you add a Culligan reverse osmosis. Ladies and gentlemen, it's like bottled quality water right at your tap. Great taste and is certified to reduce tough contaminants like lead and PFAs. Right now, get up to $300 off a whole home system or just $9.95 a month for your first 3 months. Schedule your free water test at CulliganHuskers.com. That's CulliganHuskers.com. Culligan of Lincoln, water you love, go Big Red. All right, we're going to go ahead and bypass the Pro Football Focus grades and look back at some college football action this past weekend. The three, and if you have other games you want to talk about, well, that's fine. The three games I really kind of want to look at are Texas Tech, BYU, Iowa, Oregon, Penn State, Indiana. You got anything else you want to look at quickly?
No, not necessarily. I think those are the games.
So you went 4-1. I went 5-0. What's our totals for the year? Do you have that calculated by chance?
Yeah, I wrote it back down over there. So you're 41-22, and I'm 36-27. 5 games behind. I'm going to need you to go for 5 again one of these days.
I will do my best. It will probably happen, and I won't even have to try. That's the good and the bad news. All right, let's look at Texas Tech, BYU. BYU, one of the few undefeated teams left in the country, going on the road at Texas Tech. These appear to be the two best teams in the Big 12, even after the loss. Or was it 27-9? I got to be honest, I quit paying attention. This was abhorrent to watch. It could have been 45 to whatever the score was BYU had. So Texas Tech's average starting position, field position was their 42. BYU's was their 23. Texas Tech ran 41 plays in BYU territory. BYU ran 9 in Red Raider territory. Texas Tech was clearly the better team. There's a reason they were a double-digit favorite. They're still I had them winning the Big 12 before the season. I've got them winning the Big 12, regardless of if they play BYU, Utah, Cincinnati, whoever else they play in the Big 12 title game. And they got the number one run defense in the country, and they got a defensive line that would make most SEC and Big 10 teams jealous. They are poised to do some damage if they handle it well, the expectations well when the CFP rolls around. You got any quick thoughts there?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think they're clearly the class of the Big 12. The question is going to be how they're like the wild card once we get to the playoffs.
Well, there was a point in time where Miami, you know, Josh Pate described their team as having creatures. Like they look like they were just from a different planet. They look different than everybody else in the country. He's like, I've watched Bama. I've watched Ohio State in person. Miami looks different. Miami loses 2 of the next 4 games. So it's all about how you handle expectations and success. This is the same Miami team that beat Notre Dame, who looks like absolutely a CFP playoff team. So it's about how you handle the season as a whole. Jake, consistency. It's a tough thing to obtain, how you handle expectations. I hope Miami still gets in. They've got 2 losses. I hope they still get in. First of all, college football is better when Miami is better, just like Nebraska's better. I just want to see what they can do. They can turn that switch back on. All right. You look at Oregon and Iowa in the most Big Ten game ever. You know that Oregon, who won this game, had more rushing yards than Oregon and Iowa had passing yards combined. 260 rush yards by the Ducks. This was also a game that featured 8 drives that lasted 4 minutes or more. It wasn't quite the tsunami that I anticipated, but man, Oregon is officially now a freaking Big Ten team. They out Big Ten Iowa in Big Ten weather in Iowa City. And I got a lot more respect for the Ducks, and they're beat up. They're missing a running back. The best wide receiver is out. They're missing some players. I I did find this a little humorous. Iowa lost by 2, 18-16. And Iowa had a safety off a bad snap on special teams, which could be that 2 points. And I'm just saying Iowa never beats themselves. And since they're our rivals and rivalries are supposed to be fun, I may have chuckled a time or two at that. The irony of that. What are your thoughts on this game quickly?
Yeah, I mean, it was either that or the 2-point conversion that they attempted to. Had the chance to, I mean, they were inches away from that. The running back caught it off a deflected pass and was just out of bounds. So, I mean, this was a close game, a fun game, what you would expect. Oregon still got some competition in front of them before they get to the end of the season. So if you're a Big Ten fan, I know that was one thing is like, all right, I don't know how many teams you're going to get in. Oregon feels like one, but they, like you said, they're beat up and they've still got some tests in front of them.
I think Oregon learned from last year. I think they're going to try to peak at the right time, which was not the Rose Bowl for them. They're going to try to peak in the playoff instead of, I mean, obviously you go undefeated, win the Big Ten title your first year in the conference. That's phenomenal, but that's not the goal. That's not the goal. Yeah, we need Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, and I'm actually rooting for USC at this point. We need a fourth team from the Big Ten in there. All right, you look at Indiana, Penn State, maybe Fernando Mendoza's Heisman moment, the catch of the year, very possibly by Indiana to win that game. And let's be real. Sometimes I'm not going to say Penn State outplayed Indiana. They outgained them. They outrushed Indiana. They had a lead late. Sometimes, because again, people don't show up at 100% every day. We're not machines. You can't even help it. Sometimes you got to find a way to win, especially with the team with the top 10 roster at home decides to show up. And your Heisman candidate, possibly Heisman winning quarterback, I mean, he does all right, 19-30, 218 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, didn't do anything phenomenal, but makes the throw. Your guy makes the catch. Sometimes you just got to find a way to win because it's not always going to be pretty, and sometimes you just got to figure it out. And I think Indiana, I have more faith after Indiana than I even did when they went up to Oregon and beat Oregon that way, because sometimes you can be a really good team, but you can't find a way to win ugly because you're going to have to sometimes, and that's what Miami hasn't shown us they can do yet, and Indiana has. Indiana's beating teams, Oregon, Penn State, with significantly better rosters. Think about that. You got any final thoughts? And I know the music's playing. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Oh, yeah, just Elijah Surratt was out, too, so it was not Indiana at full strength either. That's an all-American wide receiver, so we'll see. They've got a clear path to the college football, or the Big Ten championship, I should say. And I think the Heisman might come down to that Big Ten championship game as well.
Ooh, Julian Sain, Fernando Mendoza. Hypothetical, because we know who's more talented. One team said to have creatures. The others doesn't even have a top 20 roster. Indiana or Miami play in the first round of the playoffs. Let's say neutral field, it would be home game. But let's say neutral field, who would you take?
Hard to bet against Indiana right
You would
now.
take Indiana?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Miami pops off? No?
No.
All right. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. You got Bach in the black shirt after this. Go Big Red. Thanks for tuning in, and always remember to throw them bones.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.com.